Hey, what's good, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about the new tape from Ecru called Toronto. I'm a huge fan of Ecru, honestly. He is one of my favorite R&B singers these days, and I'm honestly surprised he isn't more popular than he is right now. He usually comes with a cool blend of cold, spacey, dark instrumentals, and ethereal smooth vocals over top, which some might say is overdone these days, and to an extent I agree, but personally, I think Che does it better than most, a lot of the time. There's just something about his choice of instrumentals and the way he fits himself into them that feels more ambitious than his contemporaries, which I appreciate a lot. With all that in mind, I was excited to head into this album. Will I think it lives up to his previous work? Let's get into it and find out. The instrumental is so rich and textured with those plucky guitar licks, pads, synths, and hovering 808s. Che also uses vocals as almost another aspect of the instrumental, with the repetition of the same line over and over covered in reverb that blends so effortlessly into the instrumental. It all comes together to create a dreamy intro for the project, which suits the theme and vibe to come. Overall, it's a really good song. I like it a lot, and especially the fact that it flows into the next song as well. The song is an 8.5 out of 10 to me. The instrumental sounds almost submerged due to the heavy low passing, which helps accentuate Che's vocals. It's almost a complete inverse of the previous song. Che sounds angelic over top of this instrumental as well, and I especially love how he enters a higher register and drags it out whenever he says touch. It just adds so much to the song. Overall, the song is pretty short, so there isn't much to digest, but what there is pretty good. The song is an 8 out of 10 to me. Don't keep me waiting, just call me whenever you thirsty, yeah. She got a nigga with words, yeah. I love how the instrumental has this pad that sounds like the ambiance coming from an icy abyss, only to have these metallic hi-hats and booming 808s come in and just elevate the instrumental. The hi-hats also have almost a drill feel to them as well, which is really interesting. The skeletal beat gives Che the opportunity to shine vocally once again, as he sounds smooth as hell on the chorus and enters a pretty good melodic rap flow on the verses that's relatively catchy. I love the last little bit of the instrumental as well, where it just opens up and has these pretty bell-like synths. It's just super gorgeous as it once again flows into the next track. Overall, it's a pretty good track I'm definitely going to be coming back to. It's not reinventing the wheel or anything by Che standards, but I still like it nonetheless. The song is also an 8 out of 10 to me. I love the slow-paced drum beat and bass line mixed with this high-pitched looping synth line. It feels very 80s or synth-wavy to me personally, which I like a lot. Che then comes in with his soaring vocals as he floats over top of the instrumental and sounds as good as he always does. I will say, however, that the lyrics do get pretty repetitive after a while, and they do become rather vapid towards the end, and it causes the song to drag a little bit. Overall, it's a good song though, even though I do have some complaints. The song is a 7.5 out of 10 to me. This is a pretty short song with a thick and luscious pad in the instrumental that is very textured and pretty, paired with some nice trap drums. At the time of recording, many of the songs on this project don't have lyrics on Genius yet, so I have no way of knowing for certain what he's saying on some of them, and this is one of those songs. And this song is probably the hardest to decipher what it is he's saying, but it doesn't matter. It still sounds really pretty, just like the instrumental, with what sounds like the repetition of the same line over and over. These very nice bells also come in towards the end that add a nice little extra element to the instrumental. Overall, it's super nice. It's just pretty short, however, and doesn't really go anywhere. So I just wish it was expanded upon and turned into something more, but it's still pretty good for what it is. The song is a 7 out of 10 to me. Much like I'll Be There, This instrumental sounds really 80s inspired with its choice of pads and chunky synthetic bass stabs that come in and out. I also love this detune pad that he chose to add along with some bells when the chorus hits. His repetition of the chorus mixed with the dreamy instrumental creates this trippy feeling that the song gives, which has also been present throughout the majority of this project as well, honestly, which I like a lot. Overall, it's a pretty good song. I have no complaints here. The song is an 8 out of 10 to me. The song feels like a continuation of the previous song instrumentally, and overall vibe-wise as well, with this detuned, low-pass, reverby synth, which does sound nice. However, Che doesn't really do much vocally and just repeats the same line again and again. Overall, this is such a short song, and while it does sound nice for the minute that it's on, nothing really goes on in it, so I don't have much to say. The song is a 6 out of 10 to me. I love the pad and those synths on this instrumental that keep that trippy and dreamy feeling that this project has continuously had. Vocally, I also love Che's hook on this song. The way that he repeats wet over and over is so catchy, and of course his voice and delivery just sound good as always as well. His flow and delivery are also really catchy and nice on the verse and outro as well. Overall, it's just such a nice, ethereal, and intoxicating song that I'm gonna keep coming back to. The song is an 8.5 out of 10 to me. She touching me on my she lost to drinking my sense. I love those vocal chops in the instrumental, mixed with that booming 808 and what sounds like a piano really buried in the background of the beat as well. Che's vocally not doing a whole lot on the song, honestly. He's not bad, but I just don't find anything he's doing here vocally to be as interesting as anything he's shown on the project previously, personally. Overall, it's just a pretty by-the-numbers Che Ecru song, if you ask me, but even a song like that sounds pretty good to me. The song is a 7.5 out of 10. I love the sub mixed with Che's booming vocals. It sounds like an angel welcoming me into heaven. This is such a short song. It's less than 50 seconds, so there's nothing really at all to say because sub, vocals, a clap, and some bells are all you really get, but it still sounds really good for those 50 seconds. The song is a 7.5 out of 10 to me. I love those shimmering bells that continuously come in and out. They're so trippy and ethereal. There's what sounds like to be this vocal sample as well within the beat that comes in and out every few bars that doesn't add much, but for some reason I just like it a lot, so I just felt like I had to mention it. Che's vocals sound really ghostly on this song and really embody the title as they feel really lost in the beat, as it sounds once again as he's using his vocals as another instrument in the beat. Overall, it's a really pretty and relaxing song that just sounds like something you could trip to, in all honesty. So I like it a lot. The song's an 8 out of 10 to me. I love that synth line so much, and I'm not sure why, but it just sounds so good to me. And those bells also sound just so pretty as well. Instrumentally, this song is super good. Vocally, Che once again sounds as if he's mixed with the beat, as he's not doing much, but what he is doing works in service of the instrumental to elevate it and make it sound even better. Overall, this song just sounds so ethereal. I love it so much, honestly. This is definitely my favorite on the album. There's just something about the melody of the synth line that I just love so much. This song is a 10 out of 10 to me. Instrumentally, this is an incredibly skeletal song, much like others on this album, as there's only ghostly accents of synths and the occasional piano key that enters as well. It creates an instrumental resembling a ghost town, which I love. Che sounds really ghostly and dreamy on it as well, with his constant repetition, which just once again services the instrumental more than anything, which I can appreciate a lot. Overall, it's a pretty good song, and I like it a decent bit. The song's an 8 out of 10 to me. This is such a cold and distant sounding beat, with those high-pitched synths in the background repeating over and over, and the pretty synths and bells that come in as well. Che just repeats the title of the song over and over until he enters a very subdued and ghostly sounding verse, which does elevate the song a bit from what it was, since it is a bit of a change up in a pretty long song. I do like the song, but for what it is, it didn't need to be 5 minutes long. I personally don't think that there's anything wrong with a 5 minute song, and I don't think Che shouldn't make a song 5 minutes, but this song could have only been 2 to 3 minutes at most, and it would have been better because I honestly don't think there's anything on this song that really justifies its length. Overall, it still sounds good though. I just appreciate it a bit more if it was a bit shorter. This song is a 7 out of 10 to me. Cold Toronto by Che Ecru is 14 tracks and 35 minutes long, which is perfect for what it is, honestly. So no complaints at all for how long the project is. The track sequencing also doesn't matter much since all songs follow a similar vibe, so they can be rearranged in any order and the overall experience wouldn't be that much different, honestly. I do like how the songs flow into each other pretty well though. It creates a seamless experience for the listener, which feels really intentional. The reason it feels intentional is because this album to me just feels like one big song because of how similar the vibe and atmosphere of every track on it is. Some might say it's one-dimensional, and to an extent, I could see why someone would say that, but it doesn't really matter to me. If it is one-dimensional, I am a fan of the dimension. Yeah, a lot of songs here sound similar vibe and mood-wise, but they're still good in their own ways, so the fact that many of the songs are alike in that regard doesn't bother me much. Overall, I think an 8 out of 10 is appropriate for my feelings on the album length, sequencing, vibe and theme, and everything surrounding the actual music on this project. So, if you add that 8 out of 10 along with all the other ratings I gave the songs on this album, you get a 7.8 out of 10 overall, which I believe is a fair rating to give this project in all honesty. This project was far more experimental than I thought it would be going in, as Che experiments not only with its instrumentals and song structures, but his voice as well. As I said previously, he seems to be using it more as an instrument itself within the songs, which adds to the beats themselves. It's a very interesting thing to do, and I think Che does it well. The one thing I will say, however, which I did mention earlier, is the mood and overall feel of these songs does not change up as the album progresses. They're all very similar, though this album does not overstay its welcome, nor do most of the tracks on it either, and I do like the vibe and feel for the most part, so I don't mind that there isn't much variation. My favorite tracks were So Right With You Detour, Sell Itself, Wet Wet Wet, and Famous. My least favorites were Lovin and Things That I Do, although neither are bad songs, and I don't think there's a legit bad song on this tape. I still like this tape a good bit, and will continue to come back to it. I'm still going to be excited for anything Che Ecru has planned, and will always listen. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see y'all next time.